I was one of Mr. Moore's grade 9 English students a few years ago, and as a project in the classroom, we were given the task of, I think it was either writing to a person of history or we were to write to the authors of our nonfiction books. I wrote to Elie Wiesel, who wrote Night, which is the book that I was reading at the time, and I was really surprised when I got a letter back to him.
When I got to grade 9 and arts English class, I expressed my interest in history, especially that of war history, World War II, World War I. And he turned me towards reading Stephen Ambrose's Band of Brothers, which I actually quite thoroughly enjoyed.
It meant more to me than just a project for school at that point. It was on a much deeper level.
Afterwards, I actually continued to write a letter to one of the surviving members of the company, Wild Bill Garnier. He did write back to me a few months after, and that really touched me.
And I wouldn't have imagined that he would write back to me. I thought of myself as pretty non-existent as opposed to him. So he wrote, "Dear Tasha, thank you for your kind letter. I always enjoy hearing from young people, and your letter was no exception. I am moved to learn of the effect that my memoir, Night, had on you. As a writer, nothing is more important. From your words, it is obvious that you are very sensitive to the darkness of which I wrote. Knowing that you will never forget the tragedies of the past fills me with hope. You can use your knowledge and understanding to educate those who are unaware. You can make a difference in creating a new kind of century. Keep learning and reading more and more. With best wishes to you." Signed, Elie Wiesel. So the second last line really resonated with me through my whole high school career. It inspired me and gave me a drive to learn more about maybe some things that people don't want to talk about. You know, it made me want to strive to excel in school. The things that I read about history, books, even if they were not nonfiction or fiction, they made me want to enrich my own learning.
Currently, my own personal time, I'm studying The Celts, Anna McCara. Another book that Art showed me was Killing Rage, a book about the IRA that I actually really enjoyed.
So, yeah, I started to read more and more, not just based on his advice. You know, I loved to read before. I started to write. It inspired me to write poetry, short stories. And if I hadn't read the books that I did and read about the authors that I did, I don't think I would be even the same person. And I don't think I would have loved English or English class as much as I have. So as a whole, it inspired me to do better in school, outside of school. It made me want to be a better person, the things that I read about, and to be a better writer, to be a better reader. So in putting as much love as I have into English and into this beautiful art form of writing and reading, it's just something I'm never going to regret for sure. Even though I'm not doing anything with English today as a career, I still read every single day. It's still such a huge part of me.
Until I started reading Band of Brothers, that book really just got me into reading.
And that was in your grade 9
English
class, right?
English class. That was just pulled me right in. Like, I absolutely loved it. I didn't want to put it down. I think it took me maybe a couple weeks. I know that seems like a long time for those bookworms, but for me, that's pretty good for reading a book in a couple weeks. So.
It's still something I have to thank high school English for, because it introduced me to a whole other world of art, for sure.